3 summers ago, I was walking alone along beach just after sunset. The sky was streaked purple and orange, and almost no one was left on the sand. I liked it that way. Quiet, peaceful. But as I neared a bend in the shoreline, I saw a woman standing ankle-deep in the surf. She had long, dark hair that hung wet over her face, and a pale white dress that clung to her like seaweed. I paused. Something felt wrong. The water was freezing, and she didn't move at all, not even when a wave broke around her. I called out, "Are you okay?" No answer. I took a few steps closer. That's when she turned her head slightly. Not her whole body, just the head, slowly, stiffly. Her hair parted just enough for me to see her eyes. Hollow, black, like pits burned into her face. I ran. When I looked back, she was gone. I told a local shop owner the next day, trying to laugh it off. His face went pale. He said people sometimes see her. The woman who drowned during the king tide years ago, looking for her child. He added something that still gives me chills. She always appears to the ones she wants to follow her. I haven't been back to the coast since. And sometimes, I still smell salt water in my apartment, miles from the ocean. Back when I bartended at the Driftwood, stormy nights brought out strange stories. Locals would drink and share whispers, some funny, some unsettling. In 2005, a landscaper told me something that stuck. She was walking home late one September night, heading down Spruce near Harrison. The air was warm but silent, unnaturally so. That's when she saw it, a woman in white, gliding down the sidewalk. Not walking, gliding. Her dress shimmered like fog in moonlight, but the face, there wasn't one. Just a dark, gaping void. I laughed and asked how drunk she was. She didn't find it funny. Said she'd had nothing to drink. I brushed it off until it started to bother me. I asked a longtime local if he'd ever heard anything. He nodded slowly. "That's the Lady of Cannon Beach," he said, like it was common knowledge. People had seen her since the 80s, maybe earlier. Always drifting, always silent. No one knew who she was or what she wanted. Years later, I stumbled across 2 articles, one from 2013, another from 2017, both describing a woman in white haunting the same streets. And then I learned that almost every culture has a version of her. The lady in white. Tragic. Faceless. Searching. But ours? She has no name, no backstory. Just sightings. Just silence. I've never seen her myself. But sometimes, walking alone at night through Cannon Beach, I feel it. That heaviness in the air, like the world is holding its breath. And every now and then, I catch movement in the fog. A flicker of white. If you ever find yourself alone on Spruce or Adams late at night, don't look behind you, because she might already be there, waiting for you to see her. I never believed the stories about Manzanita Beach. Ghosts, curses, treasure buried with the dead. It all sounded like folklore to sell postcards. But that changed the night I went into the basement of the Sea-Watch Inn. It was just after 2 a.m. when the security monitor fizzled to static. I figured it was the storm until I heard footsteps dragging across the concrete downstairs. Heavy, slow, like someone in chains. The air grew cold as I descended, and the smell, like ocean rot and something far older, hit me like a wall. In the corner was a mirror I didn't remember owning. At first, I saw only my reflection. Then I noticed them, 3 figures behind me, skin torn, eyes hollow, mouths stitched shut with golden thread. I spun around, heart racing. No one there. But when I looked back, the mirror was cracked and dripping salt water. I'd heard the old tale. A Spanish galleon wrecked in the 1600s near Niacani Mountain. The crew buried their treasure inland, and to keep it safe, chained slaves alive beside it. Locals say the moaning rocks on the beach are their tombstones. That winter, during the heaviest fog, a hiker vanished, Ellie Graves. Her tent was untouched, but her boots stood in the surf, filled with blood and sand. After that night in the basement, I smashed the mirror. The next morning, it was back, in my attic, whole, whispering in Spanish. I left Manzanita in 2007 and never looked back, but I still dream of those stitched mouths, the way they opened wordlessly in the glass. I wake up choking on seawater that isn't there. People still come searching for gold. Let them. I know what lies beneath that sand. Some treasures are guarded not by traps, but by the damned. There's something eerie about San Francisco's ocean beach, especially when fog curls in off the water and the wind howls through the cliffs. I'd always heard stories about the Cliff House and Sutro baths, ghosts, curses, mysterious fires, but standing there in person made it all feel real. The Cliff House has had a strange history since it first opened in 1863. What started as a rough-and-tumble saloon eventually became a family resort by the late 1800s. Adolf Sutro bought the place in 1881, but it didn't seem to bring much luck. The building burned down in 1894, then again in 1906, and once more in 1907. I couldn't help but feel like something didn't want it standing. Sutro also built the Sutro Baths, a massive swimming complex that opened in 1894 right along the ocean. It once held 7 pools and drew huge crowds, but closed in 1966. Not long after, it too mysteriously burned down. Now, all that's left are haunting ruins. As I walked through them, the silence was unsettling. People say the curse began when a ship called the Parallel crashed into the rocks nearby in 1887. Since then, strange sightings have been reported. Women in Victorian dresses with parasols wandering the beach, and even the ghost of Frank Denvin, who died falling off a ladder in 1896. The creepiest part? The tunnel that once brought ocean water into the baths. It's dark, damp, and full of shadows. Some say it's been used for rituals, maybe even human sacrifice. I didn't stay long. Whether it's just ghost stories or something more, there's no denying the strange energy around the Cliff House and Sutro Baths. I felt it, and I won't forget it. It was the summer of 2014. Carly and I had taken a trip to Lake Tahoe, just the two of us. A little getaway before the chaos of wedding planning. We ended up at Chimney Beach, this stunning, quiet spot on the east shore. The hike down was peaceful, and we set up a blanket near the cove. The water was cold as hell, but Carly laughed and dove in anyway like she always did, fearless. She swam ahead toward this rocky outcrop, maybe 50 feet out. I looked down for just a second, fumbling with the beach bag. When I looked back up, she was gone. At first I thought she was messing with me, hiding behind the rocks or holding her breath. But the seconds stretched. I dove in, shouting her name, searching the water, the rocks, the shore.
Carly.
Nothing. Not a splash, not a sound. Other people helped. We called for her, combed the area. Still nothing.
Carly.
The search went on for days. Divers, dogs, helicopters. No body, no clothes, no sign. Then there was that woman, the local, who said she heard a scream from the trees an hour after Carly disappeared. They brushed it off, said it was nothing. But in 2021, someone found Carly's phone buried under stones along the trail. Tech guys pulled video from it. Grainy, shaky footage of her running through the woods, her voice whispering, "Something's in the trees." I still can't make sense of it. Maybe it was the lake. Maybe something worse. I just know she vanished, without a trace. And sometimes, late at night, I hear her voice in my head, calling from somewhere I can't reach. Carly was never found. Chimney Beach remains open, but locals say never swim alone and never ever go near the rocks at sunset.